Man, being a Cowboys fan is used pain sometimes, isn't it? Here we are again, Pines, and of course, it's centered around one of our best players, Mike Parsons. The thing with a guy like Mike, someone who changes the game ever steps on the field, things will be easy. But no, with the Cowboys, it's never easy. It's never used football. There's always drama, always the lie, always something in the way. And right now it's the contract saga that's got everyone either panicking, frustrated, or straight up ready to explode. And let me tell you, fans are some throwing the full blame on the Johns family. And honestly, how can you argue against it? We in this mob wait too many times star player becomes eligible for a new deal. The front office plus the waiting game. The player gets pieced and it boils over into this ugly public standoff. It happened with DeMarcus Lawrence. It happened with Ezekiel Elliott. It happened with Prescott, and now it's Mike. Now to be fair, Mike hasn't exactly helped himself with some of the things said. Luckily, the grown man's staff, the cryptic tweets, the catch dives. It traps people the wrong way. And let's not pretend like a total scientist are this whole process. What is the thing when you read that good, when you read that? There is always going to be so involved. Show me an elite pass rusher who don't a little bit of div in them. You won't find many. That's the nature of the position. And honestly, when on the field terrorizing quarterbacks, nobody cares about the attitude. But the problem is the use being the behavior here what keeps coming up again. And the game is the way the Cowboys handle stars. Every single team, it's like pulling to get stoner franchises. They identify their guys, they lock them up early. They kept the distractions to a minimum. But in Dallas, it's always thrown out, always messy. And Cowboys fans are sick of it. Anywhere that long distracts out the relationship, and real fair that if the Cowboys do something stupid like say try to play hard, be the way into the and they lose for good. Whether that STR trade or something even worse down the rad is Mike with the division. Imagine that Mike and Commanders Burgundy reunited with King, and the two of them a Super Bowl trophy before he gets close again. That will be a punch for the, and look, let's be honest here. As much as some fans are worried, the scenario is highly unlikely. Jerry Jones would have to be out of his mind to ever trade Parsons to a division rival. The price tag for a mobile, like that being the need to fear strong picks and probably a pro player, used to get the Johns family to even listen. It's used not happening, but what is likely this whole thing dragging out into the preseason. Mavi even in week Jerry picks up the phone in August and gets and suddenly everything sunshine and $1 million can make a lot of drama disappear and Wepto the Della deal last minute extension. Now let's pretend we best friend game pattern is classic Cowboys. The real question is why is it always get to this point? Because at some point we have to stop pretending this is used about business. It's about culture. It's about philosophy. The Johns familiar apparatus like they still living in the early 2000s, when the salary cap was small and players had no leverage. Bad times have a chance. Players are more vocal. Agents are more aggressive. The market keeps climbing, and if you don't stay ahead of it, you pine more in the long run, plus the cost of unnecessary drama. And there's the kicker. This isn't used about Mike anymore. This is a pattern. Say dying next 10 dog again. Then eventually guys like Tyler Smith or whoever say develops into a foundational piece. If you can't lock down your young stars, early lighting matches next to a powder there or else it's going to blow. Mean in a mile of front of chess football being class is here. And while the headlines are dominated by Mike, a lot of attention on Joe Milton, and let me tell you, some fans are desperate to see what this kid can do to excitement building. People want to see him play, and not just in garbage team, they want him to get meaningful snaps. Whole quarters, whole games. But also, let's be real. We know what is dog. We don't need to see dog in the preseason. Keep him safe. Keep him healthy. Move on. Bad Milton. Eastwell the mystery, the guy that cannon arm, the flashes of something special, so when the reps let him cook, let's see if there is anything developing. If the Cowboys are serious about finding real deep spin dog or my future. Bridget starts with opportunities like this, and speaking of young guys on the hot set, we need to talk about Mass because right now the alarm bells are starting to go off. This is a former first-round pick, a guy who was supposed to the defensive interior and his shoes not showing it. Practice early the other day is not getting the reps, and at this point, the question is a trade, but the question is even make the roster. Let that sink in for a second. Are we talking about a first-round pick and cancer not stick around? That's not a pass est. That's a disaster. And yeah, maybe it's still early. Maybe it turns it around. But it's not looking great. Not when you raising that defensive tackle and you still can't get him on the field consistently. And while we on the topic of long-term cancer, let's address the elephant in the room. What happens when Stephen Jones over completely? If you think things are frustrating now, imagine Harris Kemp mixes and even more hesitation. That's what we looking at. Some fans are already signing it when Stephen is over. We and he get at the future. Feels murky. There was some that will take over general manager duties. When the day comes, Ben Agabi and be stepping on anyway, pulling strength the F years. And if that continues, what changes, what improves the op guess is that will MS gets enough power to make real decisions. But right now, nothing is guaranteed. And if the Johns family in full control, without adapting, without evolving, it's hard to imagine the Cowboys a scab cycle of being good enough to break your. But that's the thing about being a Cowboys fan, right? In purgatory, the never but nevera. And yeah, we know better. But we anyway, so let me ask you this. How long have you been a Cowboys fan? Let me know down in the comments. And if you think this cigar, that a massive right before a week one even got some beachfront property in Arizona to you. But hey, we be here to cover it every twist, every turn, every unnecessary and dramatic press conference. There is one thing we can count on with the Cowboys. It's that nothing is simple. Now, while the drama grabs the headlines, let's not LAS bats actually happening on the field. The noise coming out of the front office. There are guys out there grinding every single day and camping for a spot, fighting for a future. In this lag, and in some cases fighting to provide they even belong and not fight that hunger. That's what really makes the PR an interesting one. Names started popping up in SS, and Taubert, now be real with you, Taubert has been one of the more polarizing names in the Cowboys receiver room since the day was drafted. Tons of upside, smooth route runner. Would build hot and cold. Some days of flashes that potential that Mother Dallas spend a pay on him. Other days a king of disappears. Belief from what we reckon is starting to string together better days. His performance in Monday's practice was definitely a step in the right direction. Stiller is the inner room guys like Lamb, Jonathan Ming, and Taubert afford to be used to stand out, not a receiver, but on special team street, and that's where the pressing thin. Like some October return kicks and a cover punks, and in today's NFL 6 receiver spot, not go to the best route runner. It might go to the best gun. The guy who can feel in special teams, and actually you want an active roster every week. So let me throw this out there. If it comes down to Holland Tolberg versus a guy like Carbon Type Pin, who not only returns, but also gives you gadget play potential. Someone like TJ Flash help in the red zone offer that the question the coaching staff. And Hesley, it won't be crazy if the Cowboys only cars into week one, especially if that guy isn't going to Sanders before, and if they do it again this year, be the man. Not as a bad player. B roster is billingly faster, more specialized room for developmental projects. We need of guys fighting for himself. Flash not viral on Twitter, but stacking up reps, catching everything wrong his way, and showing up in back-to-back practices. And no, some fans aren't familiar with him, but that's what makes this story even more interesting. A basic zero hype, barely guaranteed money. No real from the national media, and it here is right in the mix. Like Taubert, old Pasto 53-man roster might not even come down to how well rots. It might come down to whether or not the Cowboys believe can make it throw worse and land on the practice squad. That's the brutal part of sometimes. The best player don't win the H. Sometimes the guy Tosta is the one who sticks around. And no, people always sing that, but it's the truth. Teams play the long game. They don't look at playing better in August. They think about easier to hide in September, and right now holding being a bit under the radar. Teresa Real makes it to the practice squad without being claimed. Now someone whose past is way more complicated. James Houston and Napi is not talented, but it's about fit. It's about that rasher room in Dallas is loaded. Mikey Place and Happy the Marcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams, Dante Ford Jr. Crowded, and unless someone gets moved or injured, it's hard to see a clear spot for Houston. On the active roster, batter is the silver lining. If it keeps flashing, if it keeps plus, it becomes one of the top candidates for the practice squad. And if something happens during the season, and let's be real, injuries are inevitable, be the next man up. That's what this praising in games are about. Not just claim for this, you playing for every watching, but if you impress here, and the coaching staff likes your attitude and your work, they educate you around. And now that we're in training camp evaluations, another debate has been bubbling up. And it's all about cup management. Look, get it, Cowboys fans, this holy G or this B of honor. We always got space, we never in cap hell, we can always move a money round, cool, that's great. But let me ask you something, when's the last team space won you? A Super Bowl exactly is not to have a perfect salary seat every year, it is to win. And when you look at what the Eagles have in recent years, you can see that clearly, yeah. Push money into the future. Yeah, they structure deals and kick the can down the road. But you know what? They made the Super Bowl. They be contenders, they talk risks, and for a fan base that actually wants results. Instead of balanced seats, that's what matters. Let's stop pretending. Like perfect cup flexibility is more important than having a little players lacking when it counts. Because if you always planning for next year never comes. The window don't stay open forever, and if you kept waiting for the right to go, you walk up one day and realize your star is out, your roster seat out and stuck in the model again. That's where the Cowboys are right now. David dawned at what cost Mike is CSD is coming, and the longer you, the more expensive, and the worse become. And since we being real honestly believe Stephen Jones is going to do things differently on, attacks over if is even more than Jerry. The guy treats contract negotiations like they rage situations one round word, and everything falls apart in stock of a past general manager in the future. Who knows if that ever really happens, and even if we seriously Stephen kept pulling strings from being the curtain, it's a tough pill to swallow. But it's when the Cowboys fans are starting to choke on this front office has no sense of urgency. Not when it matters most, and urgency is the one thing you need in today's NFL every year. Teams are turning things around overnight. The league is designed for that. You get a couple of big pieces, you get hot, and suddenly you the mix, but you don't want it. You to go for it in data National Football League. The Dallas Cowboys reportedly made the headlines today by allegedly initiating talks to acquire Canadian star running back CHUBA HUBBARD from the Carolina Panthers. Why no official camp machine? As Emer sources closet the organization hint that preliminary discussions sparking a frenzy among fans and analysts alike. Known for his explosive speed and versatility on the field, has been a standout performer in Carolina, impressing with his ability to break tackles and accelerate our defensive lines. The mere speculation of Hubbard joining the Cowboys has ignited social media, with supporters imagining the potential offensive transformations. This acquisition, Cold Brent industry insiders suggest, that such a mob will not only strengthen the Cowboys' backfield, but also signal a significant safety in terms strategic, possibly focusing more heavily on dynamic plus. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly keeping a close on developments, anticipating effects. Trade create crossage analytics continue to debate whether the Cowboys' rumor interest is purely exploratory or strategic maneuver that leveraging negotiations. Swiss Carolina, the nation of talent, timing and speculation has created media stoning the center of attention even before official announcement. Sources in the negotiations called hinge on a complex web of draft picks and contract considerations, with the Cowboys potentially offering multiple assets to secure bar services. The Canadian running back has reportedly the eye of several teams, yet Dallas appears uniquely positioned to make a compelling pitch given offensive history and current roster needs. Within Fun Forums discussions regarding how Hubbard would mesh with the Cowboys' current offensive scheme with ambitioning back system that called revolutionized game day tactics. The rumor suggests that executives are leave financial implications, potential injury risks, and long-term strategic benefits made supposed trade far more intricate than a simple pleasure for player exchange. Meanwhile, speculation has intensified regarding how the Panthers might respond, with sources suggesting they call leverage of popularity to negotiate a more favorable package, possibly including fierce strong traffic considerations. Observers are debating whether this mob set a precedent for cross-order talent recognition, emphasizing how Canadian athletes are increasingly making and impacting the NFL. Amid the swirling rumors, social media platforms are inundated with fun reactions, memes, and speculative trade scenarios, transforming Barr's potential transfer into a trending topic that transcends traditional sports reporting. While concrete details remain elusive, the narrative of joining the Cowboys continues to momentum, fueled by insider chatter and growing anticipation within the NFL community. Adento D intrigues on analysts' potential rival in Dallas coincide with strategic shifts in coaching philosophy. Whispers that offensive coordinators are already imagining was to maximize his unique skill set. Sources suggest that if the trade materializes, it might influence roster decisions, particularly regarding complementary running backs and wide receivers, to create a more balanced, unpredictable offensive unit. Rumors also indicate that marketability as a Canadian star brings commercial benefits to the Cowboys, enhancing brand visibility both domestically and internationally. While official channels remained silent, insiders hinted that private meetings between executives may already fueling speculation. Data formal announcement called sooner than expected. Social media engagement metrics show a spike in posts linking Barr's name to Dallas, with trending as reflecting widespread curiosity and excitement among the fan base. Furthermore, betting markets have reportedly reacted to test whispers, adjusting adds in was that suggests confidence in the veracity of the rumor. Talks industry experts continue to analyze potential scenarios, debating whether the Cowboys are aiming to make a blockbuster statement or quietly secure a valuable asset without attracting undue media scrutiny. The chatter surrounding potential transformed into a stacking game, capturing sports enthusiasts, analysts, and casual observers. Alec Gallagher, whether this Canadian talent willing dead Esther emblem into Salas, while speculation and dominance headlines. Some insiders assume that numerous logistical hurdles could impede the rumored transaction, include salary caps, player preferences, and Carolina willing to negotiate. Yet despite this uncertainties, the surrounding Barr's possible transition remains undeniable, fueling debates about the broader implications. For lag dynamics, bandits suggested that even the hint of joining Dallas prompted rival teams toward strategies, potentially influencing draft decisions and future acquisitions. Fans are engaging in spirited discussions over how Barr's presence might alter the team's offensive balance, with scenario ranging from Ching primary running back rotational impact player position. The rumor Sal Park nostalgia-driven per and Swiss past Cowboys, drawing parallels to previous profilters that the franchise, the tactical considerations, hierarchical transfer, as third conversations about culture, leadership dynamics, and locker room integration, adding layers of intrigue to otherwise forward player movement. Analysts continue to emphasize that while it's set in stone, the angle and chatter signals are willing NFL insiders to entertain the possibilities. As the rumor develops, media coverage intends transforming a speculative trading to a cultural talking point and creating an anticipated atmosphere that suggests the Cowboys might be on the verge of a transformative roster decision. In conclusion, the persistent speculation in CH rallies Cowboys, the dynamic nature of modern sports media, where whispers can ignite widespread interest. Debate why no official machine had the possibility, as parked extensive analysis, social media engagement, and fund-driven projections highlighting the profound impact of profile pleasure rumors on public perception. Experts continue to potential game implications, exploring how speed, agility, and versatility. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions.